Welcome, everybody. You are here at the LPI webinar, New Law Now. We will record the session, just to let you know. If you don't want to be recorded, please leave this session. We won't do a Q&A at the end. If you have questions, please use the chat or write an email. Janis will be happy to answer your questions. So, I am Antje Fedderke, the Secretary General of Legal Protection International. And here today we are at the YLEX store in Zurich. YLEX is a walk-in concept for legal services. It was founded by Coop Rechtsschutz about 2.5 years ago. And I am sitting here with Yanis Martinez. And Yanis, he is the head of communications at YLEX and also the head of legal tech at Coop Rechtsschutz, a big, successful Swiss legal insurance company. Johannes, thank you for having me. And I start directly with a question. As legal protection insurance company, what prompted you to come up with a concept like YLEX?
Okay, first, hi Antje, and it's great to have you here at YLEX in Zurich. It's good to have this webinar, and thank you for having me in this LPI webinar. Indeed, Coop Rechtsschutz has been offering straightforward access to justice since almost 50 years, founded 1974. If that's right. And with the creation of YLEX, Coop Rechtsschutz has evolved and aims to do nothing less than redefine access to justice.
Redefining access to justice is really quite an announcement, I must say. So from your judgment, did you do this successfully?
Let me ask you back. Do you like going to a lawyer?
Depends.
Well, that's a classic lawyer's answer.
No surprise.
Let me put it another way. If you're not representing yourself, which is never a good idea, I heard, when do you actually go to a lawyer?
I would say if I really cannot avoid it, or if I have the feeling there is no other way but have help by a lawyer to solve my issue. So
you would say, or I assume you don't like going to a lawyer, but do you actually like going to an Apple store?
That depends as well. It depends on the queue in front of the store.
Okay, that's true. These queues are awful, especially on weekends. But if there's no queue, I would say it's convenient, it's pleasant to go to an Apple store. Everything looks good. And we want to make going to a lawyer as pleasant, as convenient as going to an Apple store. So it should feel good walking right through this door, even if we know that people have something very unpleasant to sort out. So the atmosphere here should be friendly, inviting, and positive. And furthermore, we want to address also this fear of costs right from the start with full transparency. Our prices and offers are already, that's why I'm looking always back here, right at the screen. So even before you come in our stores, you know how much our services will cost you. Because we know that the vast majority avoid consulting a lawyer first when they have legal issues because of this fear of costs.
How do you get to this conclusion? Why do you know this?
Well, now we have concrete numbers. YLEX conducted a representative survey throughout Switzerland in April 2022, which is pretty recent. And we wanted to take people's pulse when it comes to legal services. We wanted to know who people actually turn to if they have legal issues to sort out. And that's why we make this survey.
And did you come to the result you looked for? Was it really worth doing this survey for you? Or?
Yes, so far we had some numbers actually, but there were numbers from Germany and not so recent numbers from 2013. So the only figures we actually had was from the German insurance associations. And when we look at these numbers, 71% of those who have legal questions do not consult a lawyer simply because for fear of costs.
And that's quite a high number. What did your study come up with? What were the figures you find out?
Well, in our case, the result was even more extreme. We saw that according to this survey, only 14% of the respondents actually consult a lawyer first when they have legal issues.
14%, 1/4.
14%,
That's really
yes.
very, very low. So the rest, if I calculate correctly, 86%, who do they address? They turn to?
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll be happy to hear that as Secretary General of the Legal Protection International. Well, the vast majority turned to legal protection insurers. At our survey, this was 38%. Another 24% turned to friends and relatives, which makes sense from my point of view. And that surprised me, actually. Only 20% of the respondents researched the internet for solutions, and I thought this number would be higher. And 14% go to a lawyer.
Quite interesting figures, which of course are specifically for Switzerland. As a matter of fact, LPI did a similar survey some years back, about 4 or 5 years ago. And our question was also, who do people turn to? How do they get access to justice? The survey was more comprehensive, if I want to say this, because we did it in 8 different countries.
Okay.
And the result was in this respect very similar, because it showed that the trust in legal protection insurance is surprisingly high. But what's really interesting is that the countries are very different in the outcome and who and what their preferences are. So that's really, really interesting. But back to your survey, how does the concept of YLEX really address the result of your survey? I mean, you also have lawyers working for you, don't you?
That's absolutely right, Antje. We have 20 lawyers, or now almost 24 lawyers, but we want to make the actual access to law different. And that starts with our omnichannel approach. And you can contact us by phone, by email, of course, but also by chat, by WhatsApp, offline and online.
That sounds good, but when I think about law firms, you can also reach them online and offline. What's the difference between a law firm and YLEX?
Okay. Yes, that's true. But when we talk about low threshold, we mean it. Literally, we are actually on the ground floor here, so not on the top floor of a high-rise building, right? So you're actually with the people. And we are also with the people in terms of price. With pretty competitive and affordable offers. Our prices for legal advice start at 60 Swiss francs.
That means you want to be particularly cheap, isn't that true?
Yes, a lot of people tell me that, but absolutely not. Of course, we want to be affordable, and we want to show with our pricing model that a lot of legal services can be standardized and offered at reasonable prices. We also offer, of course, customized solutions that go way beyond the 60 Swiss francs, but always with an offer, the quotation. We aim to create transparency by always telling people in advance what our work will cost. We make sure that there won't be any surprises when it comes to our lawyer's fee.
And talking about prices, how do you determine your prices? Do you work on an hourly rate basis, or what do you do?
No, not at all. Right from the start, we say goodbye to hourly fees, although, and that's a fun fact, we had some clients who asked for hourly billing. That surprised us, of course, but we focus on legal products. We have a legal product manager in charge specifically for this purpose, who creates, together with the team, legal products, also new legal products from time to time that meet the needs of our customers.
Okay.
And after all, the idea is to see legal services as a product that can be consumed. So it has to be attractive in its appearance. And we have, unfortunately, we have not products, beautiful products, but we have our stores to show that. We have our prints here, flyers and stuff, and of course, our online presence.
Okay, so this concept, the flyers, the makeup of the stores, how does that affect your clients? How do they perceive it, really?
Well, of course, the clients, they like it. They like to know how much the services will cost. But it's clear this approach takes some magic out of the legal services, and the legal profession in general. Perhaps scratches also a little bit this high renommee thing, this pride of position. I don't know the English term, actually. I would say Standesdünkel in German. And when we talk about legal products, as a result, lawyers suddenly became sellers of a product, and they don't like to hear that.
Why not?
Well, lawyers prefer compare themselves rather to architects or even better doctors and not profane salesmen. But at the end of the day, we serve the client, and in best case also a little bit law and justice, and the work we do should not be done to increase our ego.
Yes, that's certainly true. And when you say this sounds a bit overly altruistic. You also like being a lawyer, don't you?
Sure, that's right. But primarily it's about what you can achieve as a lawyer with the right approach, with the right concept. And I'm pretty much convinced that both at Coop Rechtsschutz and at YLEX, we can give many, many citizens better access to justice. From my point of view, that fulfills also this search for purpose in work, actually. For myself, I've worked for Coop Rechtsschutz for more than 10 years. I've never had to think about purpose in my work. I see this as a given with what we do at Coop Rechtsschutz as well as at YLEX.
Sounds really good so far, almost too good, to be honest. I still wonder, you definitely had challenges when you started. What were the biggest challenges you really had to address?
Okay, we had and still have a lot of challenges to overcome. That's true. And now, where should I start?
I would say the top three.
Now you got me. The top three challenges. Well, I would say it's people, and people. I know from retail's location, but now it's people, and people. First, we are in the middle of this battle for talent. Sorry, this war for talent thing. And as you may know, law is a people business. So we need good people. And because we are not a traditional law firm, we are an alternative legal service providers and not a law firm, we need a special type of lawyer. He or she must be very uncomplicated, straightforward, approachable, and at the same time have a sound legal knowledge.
Yes, but for me, that's the kind of characteristics, talents everybody is looking for, isn't it?
That's sure, because we look rather unconventional. If you look around here for legal service provider, this sometimes belies the fact that our lawyers have to be very, very good in what they do, very good also at grasping the facts of a case in a short period of time, recognize the client's needs, and draw the right legal conclusions to give the best possible legal advice. And you can't do that with rookie lawyers. So, or with lawyers who have to spend hours mulling over questions or work. I would say our work has a certain pace here. So, as you asked for, it took some time to find the right people, and we're still looking for lawyers. We're looking for progressive lawyers who understand and appreciate the concept of YLEX and want to take it together with the team to the next level. So
when you work here with your lawyers, what are really the legal issues that are in demand? What are you addressing most of the time?
Well, it's definitely not the small cases that are covered here. Most questions revolve around labor law, family law, and people are not willing to pay anything for small disputes or minor legal issues.
Okay. Well, coming back to your top 3 issues, there were people. Mentioned people 3 times, didn't you? So go ahead.
You asked for the top 3, Andrew. You asked for the top 3. Well, more about people. Of course, winning new customers is also a big challenge. I dare to say that our concept of YLEX is unique, and it's unique worldwide. So if there is anybody out there who works for a similar concept anywhere in the world, please let me know, send me an email, and we'll have a good chat. But it sounds pretty cool to say it's unique, but it's also a challenge, almost a problem, but for sure a challenge being a first mover. Because not only the brand, but also the concept is still largely unknown in Switzerland. People out there don't even understand yet that they don't have to go to a classic law firm if they want professional legal advice. They can just drop by here with or without an appointment.
Talking about dropping by, there are not too many people I've seen walking in here. So
yes, I have to admit that, of course, for this webinar, we closed the store, but what don't you do for LPI, right? But also I have to admit that the majority of consultations are online or by phone.
But as a consequence, that means you have good locations, but they don't really bring you business. They are just therefore high rental costs, if I'm right. So what's the idea behind that?
Yes, I know the rental costs are pretty high. That's true. And a year before we launched YLEX, actually, Markus Hartung, maybe he's listening, I hope so. He's a profound legal tech expert and managing partner at Chevalier in Berlin. We were sitting together in a panel of a legal tech conference, and he asked me in this panel, Ioannis, why are you so romantic? He asked me, why are you so romantic? Why are you looking for this pedestrian location, these small stores and stuff, and just not building a good online platform for legal services with a decent back office to go with it?
Why are you so romantic, to stay with Markus' words?
Well, I might be romantic, but in fact, we are not. But we are convinced that bricks and mortar help to create trust. And legal advice is built on trust. A lot of people stop and just look inside the store, look who works here. We will have, after this webinar, a small walkthrough, so you will get a glimpse of YLEX. And a real store means that we are here for the long term.
At least until the end of this lease, I would say. But let's go back to the story how YLEX really came into being. We haven't gone into this yet into depth. So can you please say a bit about this?
Sure, let's do that.
If I understand you correctly, you are in any case addressing basically people who do not have a legal protection insurance cover. That's not included in your offer.
This is more or less true, actually.
Well, only more or less. What does that?
Well, in the meantime, we have many customers who are insured for legal protection. There, the costs are simply covered by the insurance companies, and we ask for cost approval just like any law firm out there. The main difference is that we, as an alternative legal service provider, don't represent people in court. But we know actually from experience that more than 85% of all cases can be resolved outside the court.
But then don't the other legal protection insurance companies see you as a competitor?
I think that's somewhat over. Most legal expense insurers see us as a straightforward legal service provider offering solid legal advice to their client, and it's all good now.
Okay, but then again, back to the question, how did YLEX come to life? What was the process of its creation? How did you build YLEX?
Well, actually, it was an innovation project that took many, many years to mature. And it was a long way until we finally got to where we are today.
Oh, well, a bit more into detail. What does that mean?
Well, as said, it was a long process to find the right people. And being in retail, it wasn't actually easy to find the right location either. We really needed professional support here. It's very difficult to find locations like this. We're right here at the Zurich main station, so it was not easy to get actually this location. We had to pitch for that, and we needed professional help. And just a few months after we launched YLEX in September 2019, our business was hit by the corona pandemic.
And how did you go through this? How did you manage to survive?
Well, we had to be very pragmatic. Of course, it would be fantastic to have our retail concept with personal contact, but we had to switch to online legal advice and to legal advice by phone, and that worked somehow. Yeah.
Oh, you were fortunate. But nevertheless, you say YLEX was an innovation project. What does that mean, really?
That's exactly. We looked at the changes in society and realized that many people, especially younger people, increasingly want everything immediately, this instant access thing. That conflicts somewhat, and you know that, with the insurance model, right? So YLEX gives you this instant access, you just pay when you need it.
But that still means that the risk of litigation costs remain. They are still there.
Absolutely. There is simply no alternative when it comes to litigation cost risks. There's no alternative to legal protection insurance. I have to admit that. Even litigation funding does not always help here, especially in smaller cases where there is not so much to gain financially.
Yeah. And do you also address this with YLEX, or do you just live through it?
Well, not directly, actually.
So you are not cross-selling legal protection insurance then?
No, we don't do that. We have to take care at the very beginning that we, as a subsidiary of Coop Rechtsschutz, are not perceived as a legal protection insurance light or something, right? But rather as an independent company with an independent concept.
Well, thinking about the whole situation, wouldn't it be helpful and possibly also quite lucrative to sell legal protection insurance to your customers as well? And not only that, I would think it's also convenient for your customers if they have this offer from your side.
Probably so, but we are currently taking a different approach here.
And which one is that? What does that mean?
Well, we are expanding YLEX as a business ecosystem.
Oh, big word, ecosystem. Can you explain this a bit?
Yes, how to explain that? Well, we don't look at legal problems or only at legal problems we delve into. We look at the challenges our customers face in life. I dare to say nobody has a legal problem, actually. People have just problems in life which have to be solved. And I have to admit, we can't solve any problem, but we're working together with other partners and other companies, for example, with Helvetia Insurance, with Swisscom, with Swiss Post, with the Institute for Young Entrepreneurs, with Prime Tax and other companies that will be added soon on our partners list. So what we want to achieve is to become kind of a one-stop shop for people who have challenges to overcome, not only the legal problems. That should be, let's put it like that, it should be always the right thing to do, the right decision to walk through that door here at YLEX.
Oh, wow, this is an announcement.
I know. What I'm saying is, well, we have a network of strong partners, and even if we can't help, maybe they can help. So that's what I mean when I say it should be always the right decision to approach YLEX when you have any issue to solve.
So you see this for yourself and your customers and your business partners?
Yes, it's a win-win situation, actually.
All right. But of course you see it like this. How do your competitors see this? And this leading me to the question, who really are your competitors?
Well, actually, we don't have any competitors.
Okay. That sounds very good. Green oceans, we call it. What do you mean by that? What about all the other law firms?
Yes, of course. No, at a certain extent, of course, the law firms are our competitors, but we are not a law firm. We are an alternative legal service provider with another approach. So since I say our concept is unique, we don't really have any direct competitors. But of course, yeah, you're right.
So you would then describe yourself as an alternative legal service provider, or what would you say? And if you are a legal service provider, which you said at the very beginning, this is still, there are still law firms, your competitors, aren't they?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes. Okay.
All right. Time is running out. Let's wrap up, I would say. I would like to finish with one last question, really. What is the next big hurdle that you are expecting? What do you have to overcome? What do you have to do to make your concept even better and yeah?
Well, we urgently have to raise our profile somehow. Well, because whoever comes to YLEX today is satisfied, but too few people know us yet.
Okay, yes, possibly true, but how do you plan to make YLEX known better?
Well, we want to be the leading Swiss brand in legal services for everyone. Approachable, affordable, professional. And in terms of SEO and SEA, we are already top-notch, I would say. I'm pretty sure you will find us on Google. If you have any legal issue or looking for something, you will find us. But now it's time for classic advertising. And of course, it should be crisp and to the point. And the first glimpses I saw, and I showed you one of our campaign, of our clips, they look pretty promising. So I can't wait until I see the final version of our 3 clips, and we will be broadcasting them from August to October on all major TV stations. And I'm pretty curious about the reactions.
And whose reactions?
Our competitors, of course.
Okay. All right. So you want to maybe show people around a bit?
Yes, why not? I don't know if this works, but can we have this camera and have a short walkthrough? Just maybe 10 seconds or so, so stay with us. So yeah, this is it. This is our YLEX store, Zurich. Here are our lawyers working together, and if you need more, if you need a consultation and more privacy, we have here our booth, and this is actually it. So every store looks pretty similar.
So welcome back, Johannes. I want to thank you again so much for being here with us today and for sharing these ideas and for having me. I thank you all very much for listening today. Before we close this session, I would like to make some advertisement for our Congress 2022, which will be on 28th of October in The Hague. And you might know, you might not know, registrations are open, and until the end of June, you have the possibility to sign up as for a reduced rate. So take advantage, and also there are discounts if you register in a group. After that end of June, registration and reduced rates will be calculated on the basis of the full fees. So sign up now. And the topic is the buzzword of our times, sustainability. And we will show you how sustainability is a really important topic today. It's not only environment. Sustainability means for making our society, our economical situation, our well-being and that of next generations safe, and to make this world for all of us a better place. One thing I also would like to mention is for members, we have a workshop the day before the Congress on Thursday, the 27th of October. And also that is a very buzzword, design thinking. So places are limited at the workshop. If you want to be there, don't miss our call for registration, which will be coming out soon. This was it from my side. I now wrap up our session here and give the final words to our president, Simon Wall, who might be now in London if the trains are not on strike anymore. So thank you, and bye-bye, and see you again soon.
Not in London, didn't make it in today. Not prepared to take my chances with the trains, but in the virtual LPI office. Thank you so much, Antje and Ionis, for a fascinating webinar, and with a difference this time. I felt I was watching the pundits, but talking about legal expenses, and I was going to say that I'd seen the future, but I think what I've seen is the present, and it's incredible what how things are moving on and how we're adapting to the needs, and so thank you so much for that. Other than that, I didn't have a huge amount else to add, which was simply some shameless additional promotion of the Congress in The Hague, which will be coming around very, very quickly. So October the 27th, again for the workshop, and 28th for the Congress. If you get onto the registration page of the website, simply Google LPI The Hague, and it's the first hit, I'm reliably informed. There is some discounts for getting signed up early. And we are looking forward to what should be a fascinating Congress, and if the standard of our webinars is anything to go by, it should be amazing. I know there's a hashtag as well, so if anyone's looking at some of the wonderful stuff that's being put on LinkedIn through myself, through Antje, through Kyle, and through the team, Jackie and everybody else, look for the hashtag 2030 is in our hands as well. And I will now leave you to the rest of your afternoons and early evenings, and thank you again so much to Ionis and Antje, and we'll speak again soon. See you in The Hague.